I don't think that the current government understands what a municipality is in the first place. I really don't think they understand. Like, they have no clue.
The government?
Yeah.
Do the people understand?
The people, obviously, I mean, I think especially us black people, we've been sort of conditioned to be entitled, to have entitlement. We've been conditioned to demand things and demand things for free, forgetting that except for the mountains and the rivers and the soil and all of that, everything else is man-made.
Comes at a cost.
And it's man-made. And if it's man-made, it means it's processed. And if it's processed, it means there's work that had to go into it. There's engineering that had to go into it. There's planning that had to go into it. There's budgeting that is budgeting. The money has to come from somewhere. It doesn't literally fall from the sky. I don't think we understand how municipalities work. I mean, this poor municipality has got so much rich history, right? So if you had a functional municipality in this area or in this province, even a functional government, I don't want to talk about the citizens for now in the business sector, because obviously the business sector here has been let down by municipality. Because business in a municipality thrives as well or as effectively as, you know, as effectively as the municipality's effectiveness.
Because they pay tax, right?
I mean? No, because the municipality's main responsibility is really engineering, town planning.
Sure.
Local economic development planning, because that's why people decided to come together and have things that they call municipalities. There's a time when municipalities were actually, can I say, invented or created and designed. And the intention of it is that, I think we speak about this quite a lot. We get together, we live in a certain area, or even if we don't get together, we find ourselves in a certain area. We happen to be citizens of the country in that area. Logically, we're going to want to organize ourselves because we're not animals. Yes, we are animals on some level. We do operate on instinct at some level, but we have a brain with the best capacity. Well, okay, there's an argument about whether dolphins are smarter than us, or even an ant. I think an ant is much more intelligent than human beings, by the way. But nonetheless, the understanding is that our brains can do, and our bodies, you know, can lead us to do certain things if we apply our mind scientifically. The whole point of a municipality is for the residents of that. That's why you pay rates and taxes.
Yes.
Right? So this situation that people in townships and all of that don't pay rates and taxes, that was a situation that's not a permanent, that's not a situation that was supposed to be permanent.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair for you to pay rates and taxes and for me not to pay.
It's not sustainable.
It's not fair. Like, let's just discuss it on a fairness level. It's like living in a house where you're the only person who's buying food and paying the bills and making sure everybody, you know what I'm saying, is clothed and all of that. That's like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Everybody has to pay according to, I would imagine, their affordability, but that's not how it's calculated now, which I also have an issue with. Municipal rates are calculated on the value of the property based on the value of the land, or I suppose jointly the property and the land and the area, etc., the whole valuations thing, which is fine for now. But I do think that we also need to consider a payment model that considers how much you make, especially if your business is operating within that municipality, which might be unfair. I mean, look, maybe it should be open for debate, because somebody else will say, look, I'm already paying so much in taxes, but the whole tax regime in South Africa needs to be looked at. I mean, I heard the other day that they want to implement NHI, which is the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, the idea of NHI is good, but for them to implement NHI, the same government that has looted in excess of R1 trillion in 20 years, in the first 20 years of coming into government, wants to charge tax-paying South Africans, like if you pay as you earn, what do they call it? Let's say if you submit a tax return every year.
It is pay as you earn, personal income tax.
Personal income tax, yeah, but there's a whole lot of other personal income taxes. If you pay as you earn and you're in that bracket, you're going to be expected to pay, I don't want to say the amount, but it's definitely between 30 and 37,000 rands in tax annually, just for NHI. And
sorry, NHI is the National Health Insurance Act.
Yeah.
It's an act now. It's no longer.
I digress a little bit. So the point I was making is that within a municipality, yes, I do feel that we need to pay according to our means, partly. I mean, there's actuaries to work out the formula and things, but that could be unfair on the basis of what I'm saying now, because if you are, let's say, of high income means, like you have a company that's making billions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of rands in terms of turnover, right? You're going to be expected to pay corporate tax.
Yes.
You're going to be expected to pay VAT. You're going to be expected to pay, there's three basic taxes you pay. It's VAT, it's corporate tax, and personal income tax.
Yeah.
Because remember, when you have employees, sorry, I need to switch on the fan again. Your employees are not really taxpayers.
Sure, you're liable to manage.
They are not really taxpayers.
Are you even liable? But arguably,
you're only a taxpayer if you're making money directly.
Yeah.
Like through your ID, your personal individual income, or through your PTY Limited, your company. So yeah, the personal income tax, the liability currently is on the employer.
The employer has to register you if they pay above a threshold. That is correct.
They have to register you, but they also they deduct it from your salary. They basically have the legal liability to pass it over to SARS. Unless you're a director, because remember the laws changed around directors. Unless you're a director and directors pay what you call, if you earn above a certain threshold, I can't remember what the threshold is, but if you're a director of a company, you then become a provisional taxpayer. Okay. A provisional taxpayer means, your employer, or maybe you're a consultant as well, I think it would apply, hands over all the money to you, and then you become liable to pay it over. Sure. But for all other employees, the law is that. So that might be an issue. But the critical issue here is that the reason we have these even Johannesburg, I'm not sure why, I think this is a colony is a nice example, because thousands and thousands of small towns, or hundreds of small towns are living under this,
situation.
This crisis, right? Yeah. But if you go to those small towns, the only people there in that small town that would understand what the municipality is, what it's there for, how it's supposed to be managed, etc., are the people who are running businesses, like real businesses, not scammers and illegal mining and crap. People who are running businesses, and people who are paying personal income tax. Yeah. Because even if you're not interested in tax and not interested in how municipality, and people who pay rates and taxes, those basically would be the only three categories would understand. And that would be the minority of that small town. Because in majority small towns, a large part of the population are very poor people, happen to be black in most instances, and then the rest of the population, would then be divided between white, colored, and Indian to whatever extent. And then, of course, there's a black middle class there, right, in those small towns. But all of them put together, the entire middle class and the upper class would be really small. And so the big problem here is, besides the issue of rates and taxes, it's also how municipalities are funded by government, right? This whole concept of, the conditional grants. You've heard of conditional grants. And I think there's other grants that small municipalities get from government. And though that grant is basically paid from national treasury, it goes to provincial treasury, and then provincial treasury is supposed to allocate it to the municipality, which is also another problem, right?
We've spoken about this, by the way.
We've spoken about this many times, yeah. And which is also another problem because, firstly, most of those grants are looted, like completely. Secondly, getting accountability for that looting is almost non-existent, because the majority black communities that are residing in these basically collapsed and dilapidated towns would, like I said, and their relationship with that municipality is dysfunctional because it's based on entitlement.